Okay, so we back. We have Jason. How do you pronounce your last name again? Okay, go ahead and give us your draft grade. I don't want to screw up your name or anything like that, but it's all you on you right now.
Thanks, Rick. Easily, the AFC South had the best draft out of any division in the NFL. You take a 4-12 Houston Texans team with the first pick, and you come in with an A-plus draft. The reason it's an A-plus, you take an underachieving, talented roster like the Texans had, J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, Brian Cushing. You add in Arian Foster, Andre Johnson, etc. And then you draft a once-in-15-year talent in Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney, fastest defensive end in the draft, 6'5", 266. You may play outside linebacker, you may play in, we're not sure yet. You take that, and then you draft, in the second round, the best guard in the draft, and Xavier Su'a-Filo, Samoan pride, baby. And basically what happens is you shore up your offensive line, and you protect your quarterback, whoever that may be. In the third round, they took C.J. Fedorkits, and the reason why this is an interesting pick is because Fedorkits is the only two-tool tight end in the draft. They need blocking. They go off the tackle a lot with Arian Foster, and he can help out. Lewis Nix from Notre Dame was their third-round pick, which was a steal. Nix would have been a top-5 pick easily last year if had he come out. He stays. He has conditioning issues, off-the-field issues, and he ends up dropping to the third round, and they get a steal. After that, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team that needed help. What do they do? And third pick in the draft, they get their future quarterback in Blake Bortles. Mediocre arm, good scrambling ability, nice in the pocket. He should fit in well with the two new tools that they drafted, and Marquise Lee out of USC and Allen Robinson from Penn State. Both great route runners. Marquise Lee, a little bit of production problems after Lane Kiffin came into UFC. After that, they draft Telvin Smith in the fifth round, who was the defensive MVP for Florida State in the national championship. And then they take and add Storm Johnson, Blake Bortles' backfield mate, at UCF. After that, we have the Indianapolis Colts. I gave them a D-. The reason why is because part of that weighs in that Trent Richardson was drafted by the Browns, and then he was traded to the Colts for a first-round pick. So this year's first-round pick for the Colts was used on Richardson, who averaged 3.1 yards per carry last year. So how do you fix that? You draft a tackle. A big bruiser out of the Big Ten, Jake Newhart from Ohio State. He should clear up some holes, and that should make it easier for Richardson, Ballard, and whoever else is in the backfield to run. They also drafted one of my favorite players in the draft, Dante Moncrief from Ole Miss, 6'3", sub-5, 4.5 40, wide receiver with great playmaking ability. The other thing is he shredded SEC defenses for a whole year, so his NFL transition shouldn't be tough. And then last but not least, you get the Tennessee Titans. Draft grade comes in B. They draft Taylor Lewan, who was rated the #1 tackle in the draft. And after that, they draft, in the second round, Chris Johnson's successor and Bishop Sankey, probably the best playmaker, best inside and outside the tackles runner in the draft from the University of Washington. And then with the struggling Jake Locker, they need help at quarterback. So what do? They draft Zach Mettenberger. Zach Mettenberger from LSU, who some consider to be probably the strongest arm in the draft. Only problem is that he leaves Georgia with drug issues. He fails a drug test at his junior college, and then he blows out his ACL the last game of his senior year. So there's a lot of questions on the table at Mettenberger, but in that offense and the fact of the matter that Locker's struggling, he may have the ability to step in and prove to be a star. And that's all I got, Rick. Back to you.
Okay, awesome, man. I guess the Colts got the worst draft grade of the whole scenario here.